Alright guys, so in this class we're going to talk about the figure eights, up and down and circle movement. Now what do I mean by this? As you'll see in the examples that I will show after this little introduction, you will see the hips. We're just going to be concentrating on the hips in this particular video. And then when we actually do the animation in the blocking, not the blocking phase, sorry, we're just going to be animating straight into spline. You will see like how I use the hips first. In this particular idle, we'll just be doing an up and down. But in this video, I'll be showing you the different types of movements as well, depending on what kind of idle you got. So without further ado, let's dive straight into the demonstration because demonstrating is much easier than talking. So let's check out this video. Okay, my friends, so what we're going to do now in this video, I'm going to explain to you. When we start animating an idle, the hips are really important. So what we're going to do is a layered approach of animating. So we're going to start with the hips first, then we're going to work up from the hips, right? So we're going to start with the hips first, have that moving up and down in this particular case, but I'm going to show you different other variants you can use. Then from there, once we've got that working, we're going to do the up, then we'll work on the knees and then the hands. Oops, someone is here. So in this video, we're going to talk about what we'll do. We're going to concentrate on the hips and the different types of curves you can use to start your idle animation. So what we'll do now is, because this is the hips here, so if I just put the controls on. Yeah, so what we'll do, we'll create another layer here. And just for example's sake, I'll select everything and then I'll deselect the hips here. And I'll put everything in that layer. Actually, what I can do is, I already got everything in a layer here, right? Or what I'll do, I'll just select that and go to right click, remove selected object from layer. And that didn't work for some reason. But anyway, we'll put what we've selected, put the hips in here and we'll call this hips. I don't know why that didn't work, but Maya, that's Maya for you. Okay, that's better. Oh, that's... Okay, still not working. That's strange. All right, so what we'll do, we'll get rid of... Let's delete that layer. And then select everything. Create another layer. Add it in there, call it Geo. Give it a color like we do. There, that's it. So what we'll do now, as we've got the controls, right? You know what, we'll select everything. We'll put that in Geo too, just so, you know, we're not confused. Oh, all of this. Let's add that in there. Get rid of. So let's go to none and go to polygon curves. Okay. Okay, so we've got the hips here. Now what we'll do, we'll just zero this out. And what we'll do, we'll get the hip control here. This one. And we'll zero this out too. Okay. All right, guys, so we've got this. We'll use the side view for this in example. So for example, this is the hips, right? Now, there's loads of ways you can do the idles, but most most of them I would say are like breathing up and down, but you want to have you don't want to go up and down directly. You want to have a bit of a circular movement, because nothing goes up and down exactly in real life, right? There's always some variation because of the weight shift and what have you. So that's what we're going to find the simplest curves that do that. So we've got a good basis foundation, like we talked about, layering the animations as we work from the root upwards and then down. So there's 3 types that I normally use, and I'm sure there's loads more that other animators use. But what we'll do for now, we'll just show those examples. So for example, I'll get the hips here, key everything, key the hips here, and I'm looking for a motion which starts from here and it goes like this, figure 8, right? So it's going, and now you might use this for combat pose because it's like a figure 8 and he's getting ready. That's one example you can use for that. So that's what we'll do. So what I do first is I just roughly, so I know, for example, here, let's start pose. And I'll be like 2 frames later, I'm like, all right, I'll bring it down here. And then 2 frames later, all right, I'll bring it forward. Just roughly, you just want to get a figure 8 going. Then bring it back, go up, then come back down to there, and then go back. And then go back. You just want to roughly do it, because then what we'll do, we'll use the motion trail, and then we will edit that. And then we'll edit that. Okay. So let's see how this looks in the motion trail. So if we go to animation, motion trail, there, you can see it's all messed up, right? But we know like 1, 2, 3, 4. But then this one, we want it to come down here. So we just move it down. And then here, we can move that here. And then we can be like, all right, the next 2 frames, we'll just put a key here, set a key here, set a key, set a key here, right? And then what we'll do, we just carry on roughly the trajectory. And then next one up here, maybe move it forward a bit. And then the last one, and then, I don't know if we need that many keys, but we'll be like, all right, we've got 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, we can delete that one, bring this back. And we can do with the last frame, we can just copy the first frame, middle click to the last one. So it's exact. So there, we've got a figure 8 there, right? But it's not, obviously it's not pretty, but it's there. Now what we can do, we can equal it. We can just equal it out. So let's go here. So let's bring it down, say there. Actually, let's leave this where it is. And go, all right, this one, we can bring it back a bit here. And then bring that back a bit and that bit down. And then bring that in. So what we're doing now, we're just equaling out. We're trying to equal out. There. Opposite keys, yeah? We're just trying to bring this back in here. So it's an 8. And then we bring this here, which we will copy the end pose from the start to the end. That should be it. So we're starting to get a more cleaner curve here. That's all you're doing. So you come in here, we can bring this out here now so it's more even. So it's around here. Then we can maybe bring this out a bit more. That's fine. And this one, we want it to just match the top. Maybe bring that down, right? So that's pretty much more there. And that one, we can bring that in the middle because same right there. Yeah, so now, so we've got, so if I just stop this and I go to 17, yeah. So that's the cycle. So there, we've got a bit of a cycle happening there. Now what we can do is, we're like, okay, it's working, it's cool. So we might want to, if I just bring this keyboard here. we might want to stretch the duration. So let's go to say 25 frames, and then we would be like, okay, select the hips. So let's see what the hips are doing. So we can delete these, delete this, and we can delete all of this, right? And now if we look now at the animation, okay, and we go to, let's go to motion trail, delete that. And now let's go to, let's get that back. Let's go to, let's check the curves out now, see how they are. Okay, that's cool. See, the curves are a bit more, make this a bit. So now that you've got on every 2 frames, you can stretch out your animation, and it's on literally on every 3 frames now. So as you can see, the motion, there's the motion there, right? You've got a nice figure 8. Now with this, what you can do is, this figure 8, it can be big or scaled down as well. So what do I mean by that? So if we come in here, and I'll just delete the keys. So if I get this, let's look at the up and down here. Okay, now let's cycle this. When we cycle it, you can see we're matching the tangents. Remember we were going to match the tangents? We can get rid of these middle keys, you know, we don't need those. These top ones, we can just copy so the values are the same, each one's. Copy the bottom, this one too, so the values are the same. Now, we go here and we can cycle this too. And obviously remember we talked about matching tangents because the cycle will be more smoother. See how this cycle's more smoother now? So that's one way you can do it. And the other thing you can do is you can select everything here to stop the playback. Go to scale R, and then go over the key here, press shift and the middle mouse button, and then just move the mouse down. It scales the movement, so it makes it minimal. Same thing with the Y. Select everything, go to the middle here at the start, select R and scale everything down. So if you see now, it's toned down. Now you could tone the up and down, and then you can go back to the forward and back, and you could tone that up. So you can come here and tone it up. See, but you're keeping that same smoothness. And then what happens is that smoothness affects the whole body. So if we look here now, so if that's the type, if you want more up and down, just come here, select R, make sure you're in the middle, make sure you're not here and selecting, because look, the top will scale. You want to be in the middle so both scale uniformly. And now if you check now with the edible mesh, the curves will always be smooth, because remember the values, what we've done, we went in here and we made sure that this value here is the same as this one. And this one, we just copied and pasted that into that one. So everything's equal. And if we go up here, the same thing here as well. So what we can do is we can start this at 0, but even here, everything is like, we could move this down a bit more to make it a little bit there. So it's a bit equal, right? So now if we play, there, you get nice smooth. Look how smooth that arc is from when we first started. Nice and smooth, right? Now that, if we reveal the whole model now, so if we check the whole model out, you will see when I select everything. Okay, his legs are locked, right? This is a perfect example. Now all you have to do is select that. Go to Ryu here, Y here, shift, middle mouse button, on my press T for translate, sorry, then middle shift and then middle mouse button and bring everything down. Keep moving everything down there until the knees start bending. There. Now if you play it, see you've got a little bit of movement there. Then you can start working on torso, the top bit, start animating that. So that's one curve you can do. Another curve you can do is, so if we hide all this again, and let's go back to the controls, and we'll delete the motion trail, and we'll go to the side view again, right? And we'll start at number 1. Now, another one you can do is up and down. So very simple, that one. So if we go to wireframe, select the hips, delete all the keys here, and we can be like, all right, let's zero everything out here. Okay, everything's zeroed. Now what we can do, we want to go up. So we want to go up and down, but we want it to be like an oval shape. So what we'll do, we'll come here, we'll go to frame 4, move it up to the side, then we'll go to up here. Okay, cycle. The reason why it's going back is because it's cycled. So what we'll do, we'll just make everything constant. Okay. Okay, so we come up there, and then we go back here, and then back here. Okay, now again, we're just roughly doing it so we can get a good idea of the curve. So comes up, goes up here, then comes here, and then back there. Okay, so we want to make this come in a bit, and then we'll copy that to the start because we want that to match. And now we can start just evening it out slowly. You can make this as big as you want because we can scale it after and do whatever we have to. But we've got that motion happening, right? So now if we look here, all right, so the other thing you can do, all right, so let's zero this out. Okay, so the other thing you can do, side view, is key here, then key here roughly. So we're just going to roughly key. So we've got like a circle. Just roughly, right? So I'll just make it every 4 frames, but we can change this whenever we want. Let's go and do this 17. And then we'll go to visualize, create editable motion trail, and you've got a circle there, right? So bring this up. There you go. So we've got a circle there, right? So if we look at this animation, so if we look at this, it's going up and down. Now let's take this hips control. Let's check this out. So we cycle this. We can get rid of these keys here. And also here we can get rid of this. And then we can just cycle this. Make sure the tangents are matching. That's fine. That seems fine to me. And then it just smooths everything out. If you go back to visualize, you will see perfect circle. So that's, again, that's your basis. So now when you reveal the, okay, that's disconnected from the rig, but that's fine. Don't know why that's happened. But the point is, you know, you can get the same movement up and down happening there. So that's one way. And then another way is you can go, that's very strange that, it's working. That's brilliant. So what you do, again, because it's really high, all you do is you come in here and then lower everything to how you want it. There you go. So you got that And then you can just basically tone that down. So you can be like, all right, the Y is too much. Again, select everything, R, go in the middle, shift, middle mouse button. We'll just scale everything. See how it's made it more subtle? And then the same thing you can do horizontally. So for example, here's the curve. And say if you want the up and down to be a bit more squashed, if you bring it all the way down, it squashes it even more. And then you might want to elongate the movement forward and back, forward and back. So then you just go into, again, you select everything, press shift, press R for scale, then shift. The WER rotation, it's all the same in the graph idea as it is in the viewport. And say if you want to elongate that, that's all you do. And then look, the curve adjusts accordingly. But you've got the nice curves, right? Even though it's like that, you've got nice curves, really thin and flat as well. And then you can check that out. You can go back, see how that is. There may be too much there, but then you can go back. And then you can go to your up and be like, all right, that was too much. You can play it. And while you're playing it, you can go in the middle here, scale it. And then come back here and have a look. Right? And then you're getting it. That's what you want to do. That's your main motion. So once you've got that, then you can start playing with the top. Right? Then you can be like, then you can start adding. For example, if we come in here, if we select all three of these controls and we key them, and then we go to the end, key it. And if we go to the middle, just a quick example, let's rotate forward. So you've got that happening now, right? And then what you can do here, just to loosen things up, you can also select the head. So we'll do an example here. We'll go in the middle and we're just keying the head. So everything's moving at the same time, right? Which is looking mechanical. Now what you can do, select the torso, all these controls that you animated on, and then just go to cycle, these buttons here, so cycling. Now what you can do, if you select, we'll leave the bottom one how it is. We'll select the bottom one, select everything, move it one. Select the second one here, this. Oh, wait. Okay, we didn't key this. All right, don't worry. We put a key in here. Okay, and then now cycle this and move that. 1, 2. The third one, we'll select everything. 1, 2, 3. The head, we'll offset it by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, you'll see there's a bit more of a kind of overlap happening. If you want a bit more, select this control again, move that by 1. And then the head, we can select that, move that by 2. And then there, you see, you get more of a overlap happening there. But the hips are working, and that's the main thing, and everything else follows from that. So guys, that was just an example I wanted to give you on the different curves you get in the hips. And it's very important because if they're jittery, and I'll show you an example. For example, if you got curves in here, which are like, I don't know, messed up, just random, which, you know what, a lot of students can fall victim to, which is why I'm doing this example, because I did when I was growing up. It's an example of why the hips are so important, right? So if you look at that, look at that. It's completely messed up, right? And then sometimes we wonder, why is my animation not smooth? That's the reason, because look, it's doing all that. So we want to get all of that. It's very simple animation. Like if you can get the hips working simple, but of course, simple things are the hardest things to master. But practice. That's all it is. Keep doing these idles. And then, this idle here. So for example, if I undo all this, so he's got a nice smooth. you know, his legs could be out like this or like this. The pose is completely different, right? We can go here to our Y translation, bring him down. You know, it could be like this, karate pose. You know, knees in. So, you know, there's so many different, it's the same, any pose you do, that circle is still the same. All right, guys, that's what I wanted to stress in this video, the hips. Make sure you decide, do you want your character to be in a combat pose or whatever pose? And do you want it to be in a figure eight going down and up, you know, or do you want it to go round or round upwards? These are the main organic movements, right? Figure eights, round. You're not going to do like a square, 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 unless it's a robot, right? So think about your character, think what idol the character is, what personality it is, and then you just put that arc in. And then if it's a heavy character, you slow the timing down. If it's a quick, agile, so it got a lot of agility, then you quicken it like I would have. So these are the type of things you need to think about when you're animating an idol. But these are the bases I use to get a smooth idling, breathing. And then you got idol twos, which show a bit more personality and what have you. But this is a basic idol, breathing idol, which I'm showing you, and how to build that foundation. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next class.